Hey guys, how's it going? This is Tom Burkart from Revs Daily. We are going to shoot a quick video of the 2015 Cadillac Escalade Luxury. Wanted to highlight a few of its really good features, what makes it so fun, and how why the Escalade is a viable purchase over the similar Tahoe and Yukon, as well as the Yukon Denali. So let's get started. We've got the car off right now. It fires up with a really deep gurgle, especially from outside with the remote start. It sounds so good. That's one of the first key amazing reasons to choose the Escalade versus the Tahoe in particular, which does not offer the larger 6.2 liter V8 with 460 horsepower and 420 foot-pounds of torque. So that V8 is really amazing, but you can also get it in the Yukon Denali. So as I've spent a week with this car, I've really tried to think in terms of from a buyer perspective. Is there a way to justify the Escalade and get besides the obvious reasons are of its design, cachet, prestige, and the other sort of premium changes. So versus its siblings, the interior and the exterior are almost completely all new, and that's a big change. In the past it's been a little bit of a light refresh. We're on a gravel road near my house where I was taking some pictures right now. So the interior is all new. You've got all of the special Cadillac displays, including the 11-inch TFT panel as the main gauge cluster. You have the Q system here in the center console, and that's a big change versus the more base models. And but there are amazing things about this car besides just the Cadillac branding and the special design outside, which obviously catches a lot of eyes with the LED headlights. I mean, it's very, very attractive, very premium, and very new. So driving the car, I've really found that not only can it do all the things that these big full-size trucks from General Motors could do previously, but this year it does the more day-to-day things a lot better. So it's just smoother, it's quieter, it's really, really sporty. It can actually handle itself. In the past, whenever you tried to push these trucks pretty hard, you were very aware of sort of the mass around you, and the fact that it was designed more to tow boats versus handle like a sports car. But for 2015, in the Escalade, there really is very little downside to driving such a huge and capable machine. You've still got all the room in the back with the twin captain's chairs and the power folding rear third row seat for the first time. But for the first time, you really can enjoy the Escalade from a driver's perspective. So it's extremely fast. We're in the first series of 2015 models, so we have the 6-speed automatic transmission versus the 8-speed automatic that comes with the Escalades that are coming now. Those are also 2015 models. It's just sort of a running update where they've switched to the new crest badge front and rear, as well as the 8-speed automatic, which improves fuel economy from this vehicle's 1621 is what it's quoted as. And the performance actually is even better with the 8-speed as well. So right now we've got the 6-speed, and with that we have a 6-second 0 to 60 mile an hour sprint. But being up so high and driving such a large vehicle, I mean, it's really, really deceptively fast, and the huge engine note really helps. How fast is the car? Well, on the way back from Atlanta the other day, we actually were going to go to a drag strip. We wanted to go, they have a lot of time. We're in Charleston, South Carolina. So a lot of times in the South, they just have drag strips everywhere where you can go and bring your own car and get an official printout of the quarter-mile time, 0 to 60 time. And you can practice your launches and sort of verify any performance increases you've done. So we drove all the way to the middle of nowhere to go to this drag strip. The first time we've gone to a drag strip. But it was too cold. It was below 50 degrees. So I guess they don't do it, when it was below 50 because, it's like an asphalt track, and that sort of surface is not very good when it's cold. And most cars would just be spinning their wheels. So they wouldn't be able to put down really good times. But I was super disappointed because with all-wheel drive, or with four-wheel drive, I should say, switchable between 2 high, 4 auto, and 4 high in this Escalade. I mean, it's totally unstoppable. It's like, you know, this thing could, I was even hoping that like with the colder weather, we'd really be able to like destroy some sports cars with this vehicle's huge performance. So it's really, really fun. You've got this 6-speed automatic truly feels extremely responsive and very. It's a good transmission. I mean, you can drive it sort of like, you can take your foot right off the throttle like that, like I just did, from floor to like off the throttle, and there's no like hiccuping or lurching. It's pretty, it's eager to kick down. It has a pretty low first gear. Excuse me. So it's a good transmission, to be honest. But with the 8-speed automatic coming for the running change, you can you'll get that increased fuel economy, and then it's also going to be quicker. I mean, that 8-speed is what is in the Corvette Z06 and now the Cadillac ATS-V, delivering 3.9 second sprint to 60 miles an hour in the ATS-V, down to 2.95 seconds to 60 in the Corvette Z06 automatic. So, you know, obviously that 8-speed has been really, they even say, you know, they benchmarked it against the quickest shifting dual clutch automatics to try to really have almost a real like DCT level of performance enhancement and paddle shift responsiveness, but without the downsides of DCTs, which include, you know, extreme weight. They're really, really heavy. So that was like more than 90 miles an hour. So the Escalade is really, really fast, and it's sporty this year, which is a big change, and of course is significantly sportier, I would say, than either the Denali or the Tahoe. I mean, coming on the 22-inch wheels of this is the Escalade luxury trim level, which is like one above the standard, but is below the Premier, I believe, and then Platinum is the new like top trim that bases at $90,000 for the new 2015 cars. And the differences inside are very subtle. I mean, the Platinum is really nice and has like fantastic, like a nicer like open pore wood than what is in this car, which is sort of like a high sheen, pretty glossy finish. But really, I mean, I love it. I think it's an amazing truck. There's a great sense of sort of like imperiousness, I don't know if that's the right word, of driving the Escalade, you know, on the highway. I'm used to driving like a Subaru, so like people don't really give a shit. They're like, oh, you want to get by me? You know, screw you. But in this car, they like not only want to get by you, but like people want to race you, and like, you know, they're checking out all the lights and all the functions there. So, you know, those are really, that's pretty special, and it just means that the Escalade does carry, you know, a special level of cachet for a lot of consumers. It is really the flagship of almost General Motors at this point, aside from the, let's do a pass, aside from the Corvette Z06 that we mentioned. I mean, this Escalade, with the luxury trim level and all-wheel drive, stickers, and has no options, stickers at about exactly $79,000. But, so, you know, that's obviously a lot of money for any domestic car, but it really feels worth it to a great degree, especially versus like a Tahoe LTZ that for 2015, you know, has also had like a big price jump. And the Tahoe LTZ we tested in the spring, stickered at $68,000, which was like, I couldn't, you know, who knew that Tahoes were coming in with that type of price? So for an extra $10,000, you know, is the Escalade worth it versus that Tahoe LTZ? Absolutely, 100%. You have the LED lighting front and rear, which is delightful, extremely bright. You have better safety features, including the lane keeping assist, the GM safety seat, front and rear parking monitors. We have active cruise control in this 2015 model, but that is upgraded with the Premier trim level, as well as the 2015.5, you could say, models, to include like full speed front and rear like city braking. So it will do full speed braking, whereas apparently this car, active cruise control, probably has like a few limits wherein it can only slow the car down probably to like 30 miles an hour, something like that. But I mean, it's a great system. I used it like almost the entire time I was driving the car on the highway, which is really, really rare. I mean, usually I'm like an active avoider of those types of systems, because they keep such a huge distance behind people, and then when someone like gets out of your way, they accelerate like really slowly. So I just prefer like the old school, or I have previously preferred just like the old school, set it and forget it cruise control. But the Escalades works really well. The one thing I will say is that you have controls on the steering wheel to adjust the, to adjust the gap adjust. You have wide, medium, and then short. But the short gap is still like you're still like too far from the car in front of you. So people behind you, like in rush hour and stuff, will think that, you're not like, that you're just like dragging ass and driving slowly, which is kind of irritating. I wish it would follow like a little bit closer. It's like at least like between 2 and 3 car lengths behind, which of course is like what, the safe way to drive, but it's not really the way that most people do drive in reality. So it would be better if you had a little bit more of an adjustment in that regard. And then the other thing with the adaptive cruise is that it doesn't work with the traction control off. I found out, which is a little surprising, but I guess it makes sense. You want to have that. You want to have that like extra safety net when a vehicle this big is sort of piloting itself around. I didn't find any cap. I mean, the cruise would set like way past 85 miles an hour, which was really nice. Oh, but coming back to the Escalade for 2015 is just it's a vastly better car than it ever has been before. In addition to still being able to be like a really hardcore truck with I think we have like 6 or 7. We must have like 8,000 pounds of towing capacity. We've got tow, trailer controls in the back that's like nicely shrouded behind a painted surface. But you've got like the real like eyeball hook or whatever that's called, like the real towing setup, as well as like the plugs and all that stuff to really tow, not just like once every 5 years, but like frequently, and do it really well and not feel like you're pushing the car to the end of its limits, or that you have to like have your foot on the floor all the time. I mean, what the Suburban and the Yukon XL and the Escalade, of course, have always done really well is tow pretty effortlessly. Like a lot of cars will do it, but they feel like they're like, that like the car is like, you can tell from the back, because obviously it's like dragging ass on the ground, and you can tell from the driver's seat that it's just sort of like it's just really pushing it. Whereas these cars, you can tow a huge another Escalade behind you, and performance is like still pretty good. It feels pretty safe. It has like a good level of all that going for it. So 2015 Escalade, really, really fun. It's a great car. It's really it sort of washes over you. I've become, I feel like pretty special driving the car, which is a nice, like, unexpected benefit of driving like a really nice, expensive, not just like an expensive car, but a car that makes you feel like pretty, just gives you that sort of like intangible sense of like, this makes this a feel-good car. It makes you feel good about yourself. So yeah, so that's the 2015 Escalade. Hopefully you've enjoyed hearing me, bombing around on these country roads. It's really fun, very, very sporty. You've got the magnetic suspension with 2 settings, adjustable pedals, a power adjustable, rake and reach for the steering wheel. Good seats, heated and cooled. I mean, I gotta say, it's really, it pushes a lot of buttons. Driving it for a few days, you get used to the size and the scale, but there's not sort of the level of like grin and bear it nature when you're like driving in the mountains or like doing some kind of sporty driving. I mean, this car really feels like very, very able to handle anything like that. We're passing on this road, just passing a big truck. When like on this same road, I've been like terrified to pass people in like anything with the CVT. The Honda Civic was like, I didn't pass anyone for like weeks. I was terrified of driving it because it just didn't have like a lot of kickdown power. Whereas the Escalade is fast as hell at all times, not just in that initial sprint, but it has great urge and great urgency, well past any kind of legal speed limit. And then the icing on the cake, you've got a Cadillac, and you've got a beautiful and extremely interesting design front and rear. It's a great machine. All right, we'll see you guys soon. This has been Tom Burkart for Car Revs Daily in the 2015 Cadillac Escalade all-wheel drive luxury trim. See you later. Thanks.